Every season of Survivor is a story. There are main characters, sidekicks, comic reliefs, and villains. A good season of Survivor tells a compelling story that has you rooting for someone and against someone else. You will want to watch episode after episode to see what happens next until it all finishes with a hopefully satisfying conclusion. Each story that we look at together will go through one character's journey from beginning to end, from the time that they're introduced until they inevitably get their torch snuffed or win the game. We will look at every character moment and strategic move to determine whether they were a hero or a villain and whether they were a good or bad strategist. And with that, welcome to Once Upon an Island. Now, for reference, we will only be observing what the TV show is showing us and what story is being told through the show. No future seasons will be mentioned, as the story and characters here have no idea about those future seasons. All character moments and strategic moves are interpreted with the mindset of what the story is trying to tell us. And before we start, I want to thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. For only a few bucks a month on Patreon, you can pick what videos I make, watch all this channel's content early, chat with other fans of the show, and even get exclusive videos every month. With that, let's jump into another epic story.
39 days, 16 people, 1 survivor.
Taj Johnson-George, a 37-year-old former pop star from Nashville, Tennessee, was a castaway on Survivor's 18th season, Survivor Tocantins. While it is never explicitly said during the season, Taj was and currently is 1/3 of the group Sisters with Voices, an underappreciated R&B group that rose to fame in the 90s. Despite her fame and her husband's wealth, she went on a very strong run in the game to come very close to the final tribal council and had a very good chance of winning it all. So what did she do and how did she pull it off? Let's find out. Survivor Tocantins starts with both tribes arriving by truck, and right away Jeff says, let's play a fun game. It's called You Get to Hike 4 Hours to Camp, but before you do that, you need to vote for someone to not join the tribe on this journey. The older lady, Sandy, is voted for by Taj's tribe, Jalapao, and she is mad.
Sandy, you can't be happy about this.
I'm pissed. I am so pissed. Obviously, I didn't know it was going to be like this.
As it turns out, contrary to what most of the players thought, Sandy is not voted out of the game, but instead gets a helicopter ride to camp instead of having to hike 4 hours. On the hike though, we learn that Taj is a mother and
my partial motivation for being here is to get rid of the rest of my baby weight.
Oh, I got you. Oh, shoot.
I'm melted off in this damn heat.
Not much happens with Taj in between the hike and the immunity challenge, but at said challenge, Taj and Sandy work very effectively on the stairs puzzle and not only catches Jalapao up after they fell behind, but gives them a head start leading into the last part of the challenge.
Jalapao with their last piece.
That's it.
Sandy and Taj giving Jalapao a huge lead.
Despite all of that work, Jalapao loses immunity, and at camp, Carolina has been annoying the others and causing tension in the group, making everyone reevaluate if Sandy should go first, despite doing well in the challenge, or if Carolina should be voted out instead.
When we first came back, we're hot, we're exhausted, we're lost, and the first thing you're gonna tell somebody is you need to clean up the outdoors? Are you kidding me?
Tosh called me out and she was right. When it comes to like working or getting things done, you know, I can get very opinionated and do speak my mind.
At Tribal Council, it is decided that Carolina will be the one to go in a 7-1 vote.
Carolina, the tribe has spoken.
That is it for the premiere of Survivor Tocantins, and so far we don't really know Taj yet at all. While the premiere had a lot of events take place, Taj seemed to just be a background character for most of them. What we did see was her help vote for Sandy, reveal that she has recently birthed a child, performed well at the immunity challenge, and gave good advice to Carolina. But who is Taj as a person? We aren't too sure yet, but let's hope to find out. Episode 2 starts off with our hopes fulfilled as we do indeed learn about Taj and who she is and where she comes from. As it turns out, she is Eddie George's wife, and if you are like Stephen Fishbach and don't know who that is, he was an NFL running back for many seasons for the Oilers and Titans and was one of the best of his time. So they got money.
Eddie, last name, what's your last name?
George.
Eddie George.
You're married to Eddie George?
Eddie George is not your husband.
That's my husband.
That's fine. I love him.
Yeah, she's probably got a lot more money than I do. I hate to judge anybody by how much money they have, but I know I definitely need the $1 million more than Taj does.
At the immunity challenge, Jalapao wins, and with that comes a new twist this season. Whoever wins the challenge for the episode, whether it's a reward or immunity challenge, gets to pick someone from the losing tribe to go to Exile Island. However, that member of the losing tribe gets to drag a member from the winning tribe with them. Brendan from Timbira is picked to go to exile, so he drags with him.
I'll take
Taj. It's Taj and Brendan, opposite tribes, together on exile.
Now at Exile Island, her and Brendan are given an option to pick between two urns, one containing an idol clue and the other containing pure, unfiltered air. Taj does not get the clue. Brendan does, and he does not want to share it with her. However, Taj does wear him down enough so that he does share it with her, and they discover,
If you want to be safe, snoop around, take a peek in your tribal homelands. It's the thing that you seek.
Does that make any sense?
Our homelands are where we live.
Oh, you're right.
we then hear from Taj about what motivated her to come out and play Survivor.
When my tribe found out who my husband actually is, I could just tell that they were thinking, well, she doesn't need this. We need it. Everybody thinks they have a great cause. Hell, my cause is that I want it, and I'm gonna stay here and get it.
While on exile, Taj and Brendan start creating a tight bond, and an idea is floated about possibly creating a cross-tribal alliance, but nothing is carved into stone yet.
Taj and I created a great bond that could be very helpful for both of us if we do get to the merge, so that if we do rendezvous later in the game, I think we'll have kind of a relationship in place.
Episode 3 sees Jalapao winning reward, sending Brendan to Exile Island yet again. And what do you know?
All right, Brendan, who from Jalapao do you want to join you at exile?
Taj.
Same pair going back again.
It's like they never left. This time on Exile Island, Taj gets the urn with the clue, and now it is getting a bit more specific as to where the idol is at each of their camps, but they still aren't 100% solid as to the exact location. So since they have nothing but time to kill, they talk a lot more about the possibility of a cross-tribal alliance, and they are both truly on board. Brendan says he can get Sierra from his tribe to join pretty easily, and Taj says she thinks she can get Steven.
If Brendan and I can line up our cards exactly the way we want them, we'll have a secret four-way alliance that no one knows about. So it's gonna slap them behind the head and they won't even know it's coming.
It is interesting for us that Taj thinks she can get Steven, since we haven't seen her talk one-on-one with him at all so far in the game. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened, just means we have not seen it. So these two must be tighter than what the show has led on so far. But nothing more of this comes in this episode as Jalapao wins immunity. So in episode 4, we see concern from members of the Jalapao tribe for Taj.
When Taj goes to exile, I think we're all concerned with how she's holding up. It's definitely worn her down to be out there and to be out in the elements with no food, no water, nobody to trust. So we're all concerned with the toll this is going to take on her in the long run.
We don't see any concern like this for Brendan at Timbira, and he has spent an equal amount of time on exile as well. So earlier, Taj mentioned she wanted to bring Steven into the Exile Alliance, but we had no idea they were close. Here, we finally hear from her about why she trusts him.
I know I could trust him. He's kind of like the nerdy, shy guy who just wants to help everybody, and I know that I can depend on him in the long run.
She then talks to Steven and loops him into the fact that there is an alliance, and she wants him in on it.
Do you want to be a part of the biggest upset on Survivor history?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Stay in the game as long as we can and look out for each other once we get to the merge. So I might have just stumbled ass backwards into a huge alliance.
Steven saying yes is great, and now Taj has put her half of the plan in motion to make this alliance happen. Now at the reward challenge, it frankly just isn't even close.
Deborah drops out. Jalapao wins reward.
She doesn't get to celebrate the reward though, as Sierra is picked to go to exile and she drags Taj with her. 3 times in a row cannot be good for Taj's social game back at camp. The one benefit she does get from going again is getting yet another clue to the idol, and by now she is pretty sure she knows where it's located at.
You get mail from this place. If you find it around here, you'll ask, why the long face? Tree mail, I knew it.
Taj then talks to Sierra, being under the impression that Brendan did his half of the work here too, and followed through with what he said he was going to do by talking to Sierra about the Exile Alliance, like Taj did with Steven. But no, Brendan didn't talk to Sierra at all about it. Very suspicious.
I was kind of talking to Sierra down the road, trying to see where her head was at, and apparently Brendan had never had a chance to fill her in on the plan. So I'll have to fill her in on everything.
Jalapao goes on to lose immunity, and back at camp, word is that Sandy may be voted out next. But Taj says maybe we shouldn't vote out Sandy. She's been pretty good for us in these challenges. At Tribal Council, it is said that Sydney is the hot one of the tribe. I'm not sure why that's important, but it was talked about, and Taj doesn't mind this at all. She knows the men are attracted to Sydney, but she's okay with that and will make do.
And that's okay, because I'll make my way through the game regardless.
Hold on, that's okay?
It's okay with me. Oh yeah.
I don't buy up for a second.
I have to accept the fact that they are attracted to her. They're not attracted to me. That's okay with me. I'll be all right with or without their attraction.
Truly, why would Taj care? She's married, but her constant display of calmness and seemingly being unable to crack despite going to exile 3 times in a row and being openly acknowledged as less desirable to align with than Sydney shows where she is mentally, which is great. However, Sandy is still voted out 5 to 1 to 1, with Taj putting a vote on Joe, though the show never explains why she does this.
Sandy, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 5 literally starts with, well, I'm not sure how else to say this, so I will let Steven and Taj take the wheel.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Right there. It's just itchy. Yes.
Never brought such pleasure to a woman before.
Oh my God. You're doing it, baby.
Hello. Then her and Steven go searching for the hidden immunity idol, since they now have a very good idea of where it should be. With so many scenes between these two, it definitely seems like they are very tight-knit, though Steven has shown to have a great fondness for JT as well, but pretty much nothing has been shown of Taj and JT so far. Kind of a weird alliance triangle at the moment. But anyways,
I found the immunity idol, and I felt a very huge sense of relief because everything is complete now.
Since Taj lacks any pockets to hide this good-sized idol in, she gives it to Steven for now, and turns out Steven might be a little bit more devious than she anticipates, because he says,
As long as it's in my possession, I'm going to try to keep it in my possession. Theoretically and ostensibly, it is mine. I'm the one wearing the idol around my neck.
Jalapao wins reward, and for once, Taj doesn't get dragged to Exile Island with a Timbira member. While on the reward, everyone gets to feast, and we hear from Joe his thoughts on Taj having spent at least a quarter of the game so far on Exile away from Jalapao.
I think Taj being gone all this time really hurts her. All the rest of us, we've been able to really kind of gain some trust with each other and even talk strategy, and she hasn't had the opportunity to create a tighter bond.
Though I imagine what he says there has a little bit to do with the fact that he just received a vote from her at Tribal Council in the past episode. Keep in mind, this is only episode 5. It's barely 2 weeks out of a 39-day season, and I think that's why what happens next surprises me more than it surprises the players, but Taj loves it.
Maybe later.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
Being out here for so long, you almost forget what home is like and what the people are like that you love, and to get a letter and just hear them tell you that they miss you and they're proud of you, and they just, that was just the icing on the cake. I would have been sick if I had to go to exile and miss that.
Jalapao goes on to lose immunity, and back at camp we see a side to Taj that has not been revealed at all so far in the show. As it turns out, she must be feeling threatened because she is very defensive and angry about them losing immunity this time, and tells everyone what they can do with her butt.
I think whatever we need to do next needs to be the best chance to make it even 5-5 for the merge. That means everybody needs to leave their little emotions out of it and think for the team. Everybody, you, him, everybody. I'm hot today, so I don't give a, nobody thinks about me today. Everybody can kiss my ass.
No one takes her up on that offer, and she talks to JT and Steven, who say, trust us, you are fine. Taj does trust them, but then Joe tries to say trust him too, and Taj is not having any of this from Joe. She claims he has never approached her to have a one-on-one conversation all game, and he says, hey, that's a two-way street. You haven't done that either. But she says BS, she's definitely tried, and he has shut her down.
You've never said to me and said, let's do this together or let's try that. You've never.
It's a two-way road, right?
Hey,
so you haven't
I've tried to talk to you.
Taj may be factually correct in everything she is saying, but we have to take her word for it. Really, the issue here is exploding publicly on tribe mates is just not a good look and can hurt you in the long run when it comes down to people that others don't want to live with. All in all, JT is over Spencer and his uselessness at challenges, so Spencer is voted out 5 to 1.
Spencer, tribe has spoken. Time for you to go, my guys.
Episode 6 is a recap episode that has no bearing on the main story, so we move on to episode 7, where Taj wants to tell JT about her idol so she can build some more trust with him, but Steven naysays this idea for his own selfish reasons.
I just think it might make him wary of you.
I see what you're saying.
Until JT knows, I'm basically controlling the information flow between Taj and JT. And to the extent possible, I want to remain that bridge.
Jalapao goes on to lose reward, and with that, Joe is sent to Exile Island. And now Taj is a bit worried that when he returns from exile, he will know exactly where to look for the idol. So she creates a fake one to trick him. Taj used her real one as the basis of what to do for her fake idol, and she puts that real one back in her bag. However, JT finds it when looking through the tribe's stuff for something, and Steven says, heck, since JT now knows about it anyways, Taj might as well tell him.
If you need it, you can have it. I'm serious.
So that's big. That's a big promise, you know. Hopefully she'll keep it.
Jalapao then loses immunity again, and upon returning from exile, Joe immediately looks for the idol, and what does he find?
It was really easy. I mean, I walked up and got the idol in literally 10 seconds. This is the hidden immunity idol.
Lines are drawn as Joe and Sydney decide their #1 target is Taj, while JT and Steven want Sydney gone instead. JT says Taj is good to go though. This trust she has built with JT and Steven is great for her game because the story has made it a major point so far to paint JT and Steven as the leaders of this tribe who are charming and intelligent, and at tribal council, Sydney is indeed voted out 3-2.
Sydney, tribe has spoken.
Episode 8 opens up with the remaining Jalapao members feeling down. They sense a merge is incoming, and it is inevitable they will be going into it at a disadvantage since Timbira has 6 members, and of course, they have 4.
Jalapao down to 4, man.
I'm just jealous. I lost pal.
This is not something I mentioned back in episode 5 when it happened, as it seemed like a small event at the time, but Joe injured his knee during the challenge. So here in episode 8, we see how it is swelling up and seemingly infected.
It doesn't look good to me. He swears that it's getting better, but I don't know. With these 2 eyes, they don't look too good to me.
Jalapao then receives tree mail, and it reads like another dreaded challenge. How many more immunity challenges can they endure before the merge? But some of the people suspect it could be a merge instead, and this excites Taj in a way I did not expect.
Whoever wins this challenge today, they apparently get this huge feast, and I get excited when I hear anything that starts with an F.
As it turns out, it is indeed the merge.
Congratulations, tribe. You have merged. Place your old buffs with the new.
They have now merged, and their tribe name is Forza. At camp, Brendan nor Sierra make any attempt to talk or signal to Taj anything in regards to the Exile Alliance. And now she is concerned that maybe they were just blowing smoke this whole time. But kind of like what Joe said before, this is a two-way street. We haven't seen her make any attempt either. Someone needs to talk to someone.
After the 2 tribes merged, I was thinking we're probably safe, Steven and myself, because of the secret alliance that we have. But they haven't even made any signs or signals, so it makes me think that they're gonna stick behind their tribe right now.
The merge episode is fairly quiet for Taj, as it is learned pretty quickly by the Jalapao members that Timbira just cannot wait to vote each other out, with no one really concerning themselves at all with the Jalapao members. Brendan seems to be target #1, and Taj is like, whatever, I don't trust him anymore anyways.
Take out Brendan today.
Well, if you can pull it together, I'll do it.
You will? Mm-hmm. You know how tight you guys are.
I mean, we're cool, but like I said, we've been over here for 2 days now, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him. I don't trust him anymore.
All of the talks and voting out Brendan and how they're going to split the votes between him and Sierra are for naught, as after the immunity challenge, Joe's knee has gotten so bad that he is medevaced.
He can't continue.
What?
They said the risk of him staying longer was too serious. That if they left him longer in the game, that this could get worse.
Finally, and I do mean finally, Brendan and Taj talk. What a novel concept. As it turns out, Brendan wants to vote out Coach and Tyson, which is funny since Coach and Tyson want to do the same thing to Brendan and Sierra.
I can't describe Tim Beer. I really want to know what that word stands for because it could mean confused. We haven't even had to really put any plans into action yet because they're so busy trying to get out their own tribe members right now. We're like, okay, do what you got to do and we'll come in later.
We then see something that has now become a very common trend that the storytellers have begun doing since the merge, and that is to show that everyone, and I do mean everyone, loves JT. Brendan says he wants to literally throw his game away for JT to win, and Taj is not excluded from loving him either.
I stayed up all night. I sat in that shelter and did not sleep at all, just running through all the different scenarios about how do I get JT to the finals. He's such a good dude.
I know, he is. I love him to death, and I don't want him to go.
No, I agree.
As mentioned during the last episode, but it's expanded upon here, everyone knows Brendan has the idol, and the plan is still to split the votes between him and Sierra. Taj and the Jalapal 3 are safe somehow.
No skills at all.
You know what I did?
At Tribal Council, Coach, well, at the beginning of this episode, he told a very elaborate tale of his journey to the Amazon and how he was kidnapped by the locals who tied him to a stake, but thankfully he escaped. It's a doozy of a story, and in Coach's video, I did a dramatic reading of the whole thing, but for where we are going with this, that's what you need to know. When Jeff asked Taj who tells the best campfire stories, this is what happens.
Well, I love the Amazon story because he told us about how he was captured by this tribe, paddling for 2 days down the Amazon River to get away. It's so unbelievable. It was incredible.
I try to actually tone it down because if I tell them that that the tribe was, looking at my ass, talking about eating my ass. So actually, when I tell these stories, I usually try to give like the PG-13 version of it.
Everyone then holds true to what they said they would do, and Brendan is voted out in a 4-3-2 vote.
Brendan, tribe has spoken.
Episode 10 sees a lot of drama take place, which Taj smartly avoids, where the original plan is to vote out Sierra, but then after the immunity challenge, Tyson, having almost won yet another immunity challenge, and I say yet another because he won the last two and this was the third, did not win. So this means he's actually available to be voted out for once, and Aaron of the Timbira tribe says, let's get out Tyson now while we still can, otherwise he might go on a run and win this thing. Steven and Taj are like, great plan, Aaron.
Yeah, what could do tonight? He doesn't have room.
Yeah, I think we might just take out Tyson. We might not get another chance.
At Tribal Council, Tyson is blindsided in a 5-3 vote.
Tyson, the tribe's spoken. Time for you to go.
Episode 11 sees Steven winning a reward and getting to pick 2 people to join him, so who of course does he bring along with him?
It's gotta be Taj.
Oh, that's fun.
Taj gonna be joining Steven.
While on the reward, they get to go to a local village and have a big lunch/dinner/feast. But while they're there, one of the local children falls and hits their head. Taj immediately jumps into mom mode, swoops in, and makes this kid feel better.
Looking at her, I saw my son. When they told me she was 3 years old, I'm like, this is my baby. This is my baby.
Taj's compassion for a kid who isn't even hers secures her as a heroic figure in this story. The storytellers making sure to include this compassionate moment from her tells us all we need to know about who Taj really is. The Jalapal 3 decide, let's do it. Let's get Sierra next.
Let's have a power talk now.
I mean, our next move is obviously Sierra, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know what Aaron feels about Debbie.
Aaron's with us. She just feels like none of them care about her. So why should she care about them?
It makes sense. After blindsiding Tyson when Coach and Debbie thought they were voting Sierra out, put them on the edge. They were weary about what they were supposed to be doing. But getting rid of Sierra next, as they originally wanted, moves them back to a place of trust, even though it really shouldn't. But the distaste for Sierra by Coach and Debbie is too much as the 3 of them proceed to have a massive fight with each other where Sierra exposes them as liars.
Because I will walk out of this game right now if you look me in the eye and tell me that you didn't say that.
Bye-bye.
You are such a liar!
At Tribal Council, we learn that Taj just loves all of this drama, since she's really missing something special back home.
I absolutely love it. I've been hearing it all day, and it's like I haven't watched soap operas in so long, so this is really giving me a boost.
And in a 4-2-1 vote, Sierra is gone.
Sierra, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Episode 12 has an interesting development. Realizing that Aaron is not going to flip back to her and Coach, Debbie decides to go rogue and tells JT and Taj that she is willing to flip to vote out Coach.
I'm second guessing a lot of it. Coach doesn't want the money either, so crazy.
The reward challenge this episode is the returning Survivor auction that we've seen in many seasons prior, and while some people get some good food items, while Steven gets chicken hearts, a video message from home goes up for bid and basically everyone says, Taj, you can have this one because they care about her a lot.
Everybody is giving their money to Taj.
That's so sweet.
See you back at the camp.
Did you catch that? Eddie tells Taj, see you back at camp. And this realization causes possibly the best reaction ever seen at any Survivor auction to date.
One last. See you back at the camp!
Oh my God.
Jeff gives Taj a choice to bring Eddie back to camp or to go to exile with him and let everyone else see their loved ones as well. And while in exile, Taj is feeling a little bit frisky.
He just looked like an angel. He looked like a big old muscle bound. I just wanted to take him to the side and have a conjugal visit.
Despite her friskiness, what becomes very apparent throughout their time on exile is just how in love these two are. They are head over heels for each other, despite having kids and being married for as long as they have.
Something about the wild, that makes you sexy, It's kind of eternal, This is I.
But alas, their time has come to an end, and Taj is back in the game proper after having been to exile 4 times this season. Now remember when I said earlier how Debbie was going rogue? That was no exaggeration, as she tries to undercut the alliance of JT, Steven, and Taj by saying, make her number 3 instead. She will fall on her sword at 3rd place and let them go to final travel together. And JT and Steven are like, this sounds like a dangerous plan. I'm not sure if Debbie will actually do it, and they assure Taj that this will never happen.
She promised us if we take her to the final 3, she would give up immunity and take 3rd place.
Eddie's like, are you okay, honey? I was like, I have 2 brothers. They're taking care of me.
At Tribal Council, Debbie is voted out in a 4-1 vote.
Debbie, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 13 starts off with a clear emphasis on Coach, more so than normal, especially when we see him basically making up every excuse in the book for why he shouldn't go to exile next, and JT straight up says, I don't care.
We plan on sending Coach home in the next Tribal Council, so it'd be nice for him to come very weak to the next immunity challenge.
But Coach's excuses don't stop there. When JT wins reward, he picks Coach to go to exile, and while Coach gives even more seemingly made up reasons for why he shouldn't go, Taj can't help but roll her eyes.
Total disaster. I've got discs on the right side that have ruptured. I feel my left one is about ready to slip.
While Steven and JT are on reward, Taj says she isn't sweating it since she is confident in them, as they have all agreed to go to the final 3.
I'm not worried about it at all. I feel very confident in my alliance with Steven and JT. We vowed that we go to the final 3 together, and we will.
Taj and Aaron then finally get some quality alone time at camp, and long story short, neither of them buys any of Coach's excuses. Aaron felt bad for trash talking Coach, but Taj was like, nah, don't feel bad. He deserved it.
And you know what kills me? He talking all smack about how he's so broken down, but he was perfectly fine when he was on JT's heels. Had he won, the Warrior would have been back.
I know.
We haven't really seen these two talk to each other all season, but this interaction makes them seem close, which is great if Taj is in the final 2 and needs Aaron's vote. At the immunity challenge, everyone is there living their normal Survivor life, but then one of the saddest, most profound entrances in Survivor history takes place.
I'm thinking, this guy is such a drama queen. He's so dramatic. Any 37-year-old man who thinks he's a dragon slayer belongs in a mental institution.
Keep in mind that while Coach is 37, so is Taj. And yet it is night and day on who is the mature one between these two. Now, during the intense immunity challenge, once again we see Coach thriving despite his physical ailments, and Taj says, please, Coach, don't hurt your back. And almost as if he had forgotten he had a back problem, but her saying it out loud reminded him this happens.
I got something to prove coming back from exile.
Don't hurt your back anymore. Don't.
Ah! Oh my God, man.
Jesus, are you okay, man?
She nails exactly what Coach is doing back at camp when she says he is just attempting to prey on everyone's sympathy. Taj's BS radar is in full force.
What's his strategy? To prey on everybody's sympathy? All of a sudden he could stand up. All he had to do was massage it. Yeah, he's so full of it.
Despite the dramatics at Tribal Council, Coach is voted out in a 3-2 vote.
Coach, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
It is finale time. JT versus Steven versus Taj versus Aaron. Who will go to the final two and convince the jury they are worthy of the title of sole survivor? Let's find out. Well, right away, danger's afoot.
Well, if JT loses immunity, ... Wow.
JT goes on to win immunity, and back at camp, Taj knows Aaron will be scrambling to be saved over Taj, but she trusts that the two guys who have agreed to go to the final three with her will not be flipping on her.
Erin, I'm sure she's vying for a spot. She's going to be trying to convince them that she's worthy of being here. But I want her to realize that she can try all day long. The guys are loyal to me until the final three, and we're going to move on like that.
Taj is completely misplaying this, but really her only move right now is to team up with Aaron and vote Steven to force a fire-making tiebreaker, which would occur between her and him. Who would win? Not sure. But the blind faith in JT and Steven seems like a rookie mistake. While Aaron talks to JT, he says she makes a solid point about Taj beating them all at the final tribal council.
She made a good point. Taj has a very good chance of beating me at jury votes because everyone loves Taj. This is a game for $1 million right now. It doesn't matter who's Timbira, who's Jalapao. I want to make sure I've got a good shot at $1 million.
Prior to tribal council, Taj says she would be shocked if she was voted out. But sure enough, she is blindsided in a 3-1 vote.
Taj, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
So let's break this down. How is Taj Johnson-George as a character? Taj was a compassionate, loving woman who cared about her family, loved kids, and was loyal to her alliance. And when she had a bad day, don't get in her way. She will tell you to kiss her butt. She was a constant source of joy in the show, and she seemed like someone that any of us could befriend, which is why she was so well loved and accepted despite how much time she spent on Exile Island. Though her trip to it with Eddie could have resulted in another kid had no cameras been around. Who knows? The only knock you can really make against her as a character is that she didn't communicate well with everyone, and at times the story pushed her aside in favor of the bigger characters like Coach, though she was certainly the antithesis to him. Out of 17 character moments shown on the show, 14 were heroic and 3 were villainous, making Taj Johnson-George a hero character on Survivor Tocantins. Now, how is Taj Johnson-George as a strategist? The Exile Alliance and the Jalapao 3. Being a part of 2 iconic alliances should net Taj a lot of praise as a strategist. After all, one of them created a cross-tribal alliance in the pre-merge in a way we had never seen before, while the other toppled a tribe of 6 at the merge with only 3 members. Pretty much a hard to pull off feat, but despite being a part of both, it hurts that the Exile Alliance failed to make anything of itself come the merge, since Taj nor Brendan wanted to clearly communicate in a timely manner, and the Jalapao 3 was driven by JT and Steven with Taj along for the ride. She was so willing to make a move in the pre-merge, but in the post-merge, she watched as Timbira self-destructed, a good move. But while this occurred, she failed to capitalize on creating an alliance or some sort of deal that had her at final tribal council. All we ever heard was her final 3 deal with JT and Steven, but it was never made clear if she was fine being third or not. In the end, she was sniped at the final 4 for just being too likable. Out of 45 strategic moments shown on the show, 33 were smart and 12 were dumb, making Taj Johnson-George a smart strategist on Survivor Tocantins. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. See you all next time.